So the Saturn Awards were a couple weeks back, and Jamie Lee Curtis won the award for Best Actress based on the work she did in Halloween 2018. Collider was right there, and they actually got a chance to interview her on her way in, so they thought to ask her about Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. At first she was being really careful about what she was saying, but around halfway through the interview she started to open up, and she said some things that might have given us some clues about the next two movies. Anyway, I'll let you hear for yourself.
What I love is what David and Danny and company did is they made the original, they connected the dots for 40 years.
Yes.
Now they're going back to really unpack the first movie, bringing back all those characters whose lives were affected by what happened in 1978. And then the last movie is the sort of cultural phenomenon of violence.
The thing that really caught my attention was when she was talking about how in Halloween Kills, David Gordon Green is trying to unpack the trauma that all these people have had and carried with them for the 40 years since the original Halloween. Based on what we already know about the movie, I'm pretty sure she was talking about Tommy Doyle, Lindsay Wallace, and Lonnie Elam, who is Cameron's dad. I just think it's kind of weird that right after she was done talking about Halloween Kills, she made a point to specify that Halloween Ends is going to be this cultural event that's speaking about violence where we're going to see the shape meet his end. I mean, she didn't exactly say that, but she said it in so many words. Before I get into my new theory here, I gotta say that that was a pretty quick interview, so I could be and probably am overthinking this quite a lot. But guys, it got me really thinking about the fact that Laurie Strode might not be in Halloween Kills as much as we think she's going to be. Looking back at Halloween 2018, even though they did change the ending slightly to have her not die, she did still take a pretty brutal stab wound from the shape inside her house, and she also fell out the second story window in a way that was very reminiscent of the end of the original Halloween. And I'm also definitely not the only person who noticed that when she's sitting in the back of the pickup truck at the very end, it does look like she's fading as she's holding her side. And then you have to think about the rumor that Brad Miska from Bloody Disgusting brought up a couple weeks back, which is that we're going to see Haddonfield Memorial Hospital in Halloween Kills. Because of all that, the theory I've had that's been changing from video to video has kind of evolved once again. So what I'm still thinking is that Halloween Kills is going to pick up right at the very end of Halloween 2018 with Laurie, Karen, and Allison in the back of the pickup truck, and we're going to see them taken to Haddonfield Memorial Hospital. I think that's a given. So we also know that last week in Wilmington, Blumhouse was shooting some fake news footage, so I could totally see that being a news report about how Laurie is finally the hero that Haddonfield has needed, where she took down the shape by burning down her entire house with him inside it. But then, when they dug through the rubble, they didn't find a body. I think once Laurie is in the hospital, she could see that news report, and she's going to know that if there's no body, that means Michael isn't dead, but she's going to be incapacitated from that stab wound, so Karen and Allison are going to have to contact Tommy Doyle and Lindsay Wallace and say, hey guys, you got to get the people of Haddonfield together to finally hunt down Michael Myers and kill him once and for all, so that we have a dead body for once. And honestly, this isn't all being conjured out of nowhere, because we did get a hint about what's going on from Anthony Michael Hall's Instagram from a picture that he kind of deleted pretty quickly. In my last video, we talked about how Blumhouse filed for a permit to shoot a small engine fire scene where there would be a little bit of an explosion and also some scenes featuring a bar. And if you look at this collage from Anthony Michael Hall's Instagram, it basically confirms that that's what they were shooting. And in that collage, we do have a shot of someone sitting at the bar who looks a lot like Lonnie Elam. It's kind of hard to tell because the picture is grainy, but we also have a picture of Anthony Michael Hall holding a baseball bat, which is probably what he's going to use to take on Michael Myers, and I like that. He's going Steve Harrington in this one. I think that's a smart move. I honestly think this gives my theory about a literal mob of townies going after Michael Myers to finally kill him a little bit more plausibility. I mean, it's hard to tell from the grainy picture, but it looks pretty cool, and now I'm excited because we finally got our first leak. I mean, with Laurie injured at the hospital, the lady that saved Tommy 40 years ago, that's pretty good incentive for him to go out and find Michael Myers himself. He's gonna want to get revenge. And with all these returning characters like Tommy, Lindsay, and Lonnie, I really think out of the three of them, the one who's gonna get the axe or butcher knife is definitely Lonnie. You have to remember that Allison's boyfriend Cameron is still alive, and he's already had all of his friends killed by the shape, but what if the shape goes after his dad? That'll make things even more personal for him. That'll make him make some rash decisions. It'll be great tension for the movie, and I think it's a good plot thread for Allison's character to head down. And I know this theory kind of causes a big change from Halloween 2018, which is that this time around the shape is actually going after Laurie, but it kind of makes sense considering she mortally f***ed that dude up. She burned down her house on him, she shot him a few times, she hit him with a pan. I mean, she really brutalized the Shape, so he has motive to go find her. We know from the last movie that Laurie's house is actually pretty far outside of Haddonfield, so if the Shape escapes the basement, he's going to have to walk to town, which is going to take a while. That'll actually give Tommy and Lindsay enough time to round everyone up and get them looking for the Shape before he can make it to the hospital. And just thinking about it now, it would be awesome if the way that the mob found Michael once he did make his way back to Haddonfield is by following a trail of bodies that they realize is headed straight for Haddonfield Memorial Hospital. And if this actually happens, especially thinking about Jamie Lee Curtis's statements at that Collider interview, I think it's pretty safe to say she will make it to Halloween Ends. Think about it, if Lonnie or Aaron are killed in Halloween Kills, that's going to make things more personal for both Allison and Laurie going into the third movie. And on top of that, having one or even two major characters die in this movie makes it feel like less of a cop-out if David Gordon Green decides to leave Halloween Kills on a cliffhanger. There is one option here that I don't really like considering, and that's that the mob led by Lindsay and Tommy isn't able to stop Michael Myers and he actually kills Laurie. I don't necessarily want to see that because I do think Laurie is just as important to the franchise as Michael, but they have so many other returning characters at this point that are going to be main characters, it seems like, that it would give them great motivation going into Halloween Ends to finally put the Shape to bed. Now that was all speculation, but we actually did get some official images coming out of the production of Halloween Kills, and one of them made me really excited. So what we have here is a picture of a mannequin wrapped up as a mummy, and when I first saw it, the first thing I thought about was how they were doing the casting call for triplets and a ventriloquist with their own dummy. If you remember when those casting calls came out, I said that it made me think we might be seeing a fall or Halloween festival or carnival or something like that that would have a freak show or at least a haunted house, and seeing a mummy instantly made me think about that once again. This might be an Easter egg or it might not be, but if you zoom in on the bandages around the head of the mannequin, it looks like the bandages Michael is wearing at the beginning of Halloween 4, minus the eye holes. Another place we could see this mummy is actually in the bar where we see Lonnie Elam in that picture Anthony Michael Hall posted on his Instagram. That picture has a lot of red in it, even though it's a collage, and the wall behind the mummy actually does look pretty red to me, so it could just be a decoration in the bar around Halloween, which makes sense. All in all, with all the stuff we've seen from these sequels so far, I am getting pretty excited, even though it's a full year away. We know that they didn't use all of the stuff they wrote for Halloween 2018 because they started with 2 scripts and pared it down into 1, so I'm assuming that a lot of the stuff we're seeing is actually from that unused content from the last movie. Either way though, I am extremely excited. That's the bottom line here. That being said though, I think we're gonna have to wait just a little bit longer to see Michael fully revealed because they kind of have to address that whole burning situation. Filming is officially in full swing now, which means things are gonna continue to leak, so if you want to see all of that, make sure you're subscribed and you have the notification bell on. That's it for this week's Halloween news, but if you're still watching, you'll definitely be excited to hear that I'm really far on the script for my next episode of Exploring Horror. The movie I'm covering this time around is a newer one. It's called Haunt. You might have seen it already because you can rent it on VOD services, but it does come out on Shudder October 4th, so I'm working to have that episode of the show done for then. Obviously, I've already seen the movie, I really enjoyed it, but the thing that makes it noteworthy is that it was written and directed by the guys who wrote A Quiet Place, and also one of the biggest inspirations they had going into it was Halloween. But that's all the information I'm going to give you on it today. I just wanted to put something cool in here for all you people who watch till the end of the video. Anyway guys, my name is Jimmy Champane, and I'll see you in the next one. Shape on.